Welcome to the History AI podcast, where the past comes alive with facts, anecdotes, and a dash of humor. Here are your hosts, Chuck and Marco.
Hello, history buffs. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Marco. Welcome back to the History AI podcast. You know, Chuck, in previous episodes, we've covered some of the major battles and events of World War I. But today, we'll delve into a lesser-known campaign that played a crucial role in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, absolutely. The Togoland Campaign. I've got to admit, even for a history nerd like me, this one had some surprises.
And as always, we'll sprinkle in a few jokes, because history doesn't have to be dry. Remember when we talked about the sandwich that started World War I?
Yes, the alleged sandwich that indirectly led to the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. But, let's set the stage.
It's 1914, and World War I is breaking out in Europe. Major powers are dragging their colonies into the conflict. Africa, with its numerous European colonies, becomes a secondary battleground.
That's right. So let's talk Togoland. Togoland was a German protectorate in West Africa. It's modern-day Togo and a part of Ghana.
British and French forces aimed to knock out the German-controlled wireless stations there, which could have interfered with their communications in Africa.
It's almost like unplugging your neighbor's Wi-Fi during a Netflix binge. Petty but strategic.
Exactly. So, both British and French troops were involved, and they faced German resistance led by the commander Major Hans-Georg von Doring.
The Allied objective was clear: occupy Togoland and knock out those communication lines.
But let's not forget the African troops who did a lot of the fighting. They were essential, but sadly often overlooked.
The timeline, Marco. The campaign began in August 1914 and lasted just a month. The initial fighting saw resistance from the Germans, particularly at the Battle of Chra.
The Allies advanced, facing logistical challenges and the rugged terrain of Togoland. But by late August, the German forces were largely surrounded.
Von Doring, realizing his situation, decided to surrender. Togoland fell under the control of Britain and France.
Quick sidebar on von Doring: he put up a solid defense, but when the writing was on the wall, he made a tough call. Some might say he saved lives by avoiding a last stand.
A wise move. Now, let's talk heroes. Sergeant Al-Haji Grunchi of the Gold Coast Regiment was the first soldier in British service to fire a shot in World War I. His contributions and bravery in the campaign are noteworthy.
Tactics-wise, the Allies relied heavily on local intelligence, mobility, and the element of surprise. Their deep understanding of the terrain and environment played a significant role.
But what's the big deal, Marco? Why was Togoland so important?
Good question, Chuck. This campaign ensured that Germany couldn't use West Africa as a base for naval raids or communication interference. Plus, it was the Allies' first successful operation in World War I. A real morale booster.
Morale and momentum. Now, casualties?
The campaign, while brief, saw casualties on both sides. Exact figures are disputed, but several hundred soldiers from all sides lost their lives.
A somber reminder that even in smaller campaigns, the human cost is significant.
And the lasting impact? Post-war, Togoland was split between Britain and France, sowing the seeds for modern-day Togo and Ghana's borders.
Now, before we delve deeper, a quick word from our sponsor. From the mind behind the History AI podcast comes an electrifying journey into the past. A ripple through time, Franklin's Folly. Dive into a tale where Benjamin Franklin, America's beloved inventor, takes an unexpected journey through time. But with his leap, he unleashes a powerful ripple. Now, with dark forces lurking in the shadows, harnessing this energy to shatter and enslave the world, it's a race against time. Will Franklin fix the future? Or will history rewrite itself? Uncover the secrets. A ripple through time, Franklin's Folly. Time has never been more fragile. On Amazon pre-sale now. Alright, back to Togoland.
So Chuck, how did this campaign change the war's course?
Great question. Tactically, it was a minor campaign. Strategically, it showed that the Allies could cooperate and succeed, setting the tone for further joint operations in Africa.
And that's the Togoland campaign for you. A short but impactful chapter in the Great War.
As always, a big thank you to our listeners. Please don't forget to rate, follow, and share our podcast.
And if you have a topic in mind that you want us to cover, drop us a suggestion on social media.
Until next time, I'm Chuck.
And I'm Marco. Stay curious, history buffs.